Hi everyone, my name is Mateusz and welcome to my Getting Started with React 16 tutorial. This is the episode 3 and today we are going to configure our web server. So before we start, this time I'm planning to record a bit shorter video than last time because I thought that 40 minutes is a bit too long and I don't want to push you to invest so much time to watch these videos and implement those things on your own. So from now I will try to keep the episodes about between 10 and 15 minutes. I hope it will work for you. So now let's get started. So first thing what we need to install is a nodemon, npm ei save dev nodemon. Nodemon is a file watcher. We will need it for development because this is the file watcher. So if something in our code base changes, Nodemon will automatically restart our server with all new changes applied. So it's really good feature and we install it only for development. But at first we need to configure it. Let's open our package.json file and let's define watch server command node modules .bin / nodemon -e. It means extension. We define TS as TypeScript, TSX as TypeScript with JSX syntax, and just in case JS. And --watch. We define the src directory. So we watch only for changes in src directory, right? Somewhere here in client and server. And if something changes on the client side or the server side, we reload the server code. And now we also need to define the entry file, which is index.js. Actually, I'm going to define also one additional command, which is just start command, which just starts server without file watcher, just for production purposes and stuff like this. So node index.js. That's all. Now we need to specify our main application file because as you see, the entry file is defined as index.js, but index.js doesn't exist on this list. So let's define it. Let's open console. Am I in proper directory? Yes, I am. Now type touch index.js. The file has been created. And now we need to define how the application is supposed to spin up. And we are going to use for this one thing. It's called ts-node register. And also we need to include here our application code. So src server, as server is the entry file where our application starts up. So we need to have server to work with client, right? What is ts-node? ts-node is execution environment for Node for TypeScript to transpile TypeScript for Node, more or less. So we don't have Webpack. When we configure our server side, we don't use Webpack. We use some other processing library. We can use Babel, or we can use, for example, as here, ts-node. And I'm going to use ts-node. It's much easier. Yeah, that's my motivation. But I need to install it, and it will be installed as regular dependency, as we need it all the time. So, on production and for development purposes, we need this dependency. because we are not going to publish the code to some npm repository and stuff like this. We'll just process the code and during the server startup. At least we'll keep it like this for now. And now when we have this application, in theory it's supposed to be running npm start. Let's check it out, what happens. Nothing happens as we don't have any file in the server. Let's define this file. Okay, there is no output as there is no code for now. Now let's change it. Let's import. No, unfortunately we need to install our HTTP server. For this purpose, I'm going to use Express.js. Let's start to install it. We are going to install it as a normal dependency. We need it all the time. And also typings for Express. So TypeScript definitions for all classes. In the meanwhile, I will show you what is Express. Express is like minimalistic web framework for Node. So it's like the HTTP server. Express.js makes building the server application super easy with Node, because it's minimalistic and it has all required methods, libraries. I mean, it doesn't have them, but you know, it's well developed by the community, so it's really convenient to use it. Right. Now we can, is it already installed? Yes, great. Now we can import our Express library from Express. I also, let's define the application port. It will be 8080. You can change it if you want. Let's initialize the application, Express. And now let's define that our application listens on our port. Let's define the callback. So now listening on port. I'm going to add one other thing here yet. So I want to include the target directory to our application, so we can actually access these files and we can get rid of index.html file. So include statics this now use. Let's define that we are going to use target directory and express static. And now it would be really convenient to use join method from path module. Join method from path module just makes out of so we define path join here, so it joins all arguments into the path, you know, on the on the file system. So we use our current directory name, and in this case we are in directory server index.tss, and to get to the target directory we need to go down 2 times, as we are here, so we need to use double dot once and second time as on src. Now we need to define our target directory, right? And in theory, our application should work right now. Let's try to run it. Watch server. Now we are using the NodeMon version of our server spin-up. Looks like it works. Now our application is listening on port 8080. Let's open it. This is a good sign as our application is still working. And now let's check. Okay. Now actually not even our React application is working because it's included in this index.html file, but it's not exactly what we want. I just wanted to show you that actually this target directory was included into our build, so we can access it. If we remove this, let's comment it out. Now this site can't be reached. So this allows us to actually include, let's say, include our assets. And as you see here, we can't open the main page, and this is a problem, right? Because we can't open it because we didn't define it yet. But at least we can reach our assets, but that's not how we want to use this application. Let's fix this problem. So to do so, we need to define a basic routing for our application. There is a documentation website on Express.js page, and routing refers to determining how an application responds to a client request to a particular endpoint. More or less it means that we need to define the main page, on the slash on the main URL, so in this case slash, right? We can do this by, let's create a routes directory in our server, and in the routes directory let's define index.ts file, as this is the main file which will be imported from this directory. So now we need, as we are writing TypeScript, we need to import some types from Express, such as Express, request, response from Express. We don't need all of them. And now we need to define routing factory. So it will be function called initialize routes, and we need to use our our application reference from here. So let's define it as a parameter app, and app is an Express instance all the time. And now we can define our main URL, and we need to specify the callback, requeue, it will be type of request, and response here, and this return void, and return render index.jade. Let's use. So what it does, it will just render index.jade file on the home page. Unfortunately, it's not going to work right now as we don't have this file isn't created yet. Oh, this file isn't created yet, and we didn't export this method, so we need to export it, and we will export this as default, as this is the only, this file will only export this method, this factory method, so that's why we use default here. Let's import it. Initialize routes from routes. Now let's put it here before the listen. Now our application works. Let's see. Cannot find module Jade. That's correct. We need to install also our templating agent. I suggest to use Jade. It's super easy. Just let's use Jade. We are not going to use it so much. So now we open the terminal. Let's close this application. Command C, Control C. Now npm install save Jade, as we are going to need this template engaging all the time. Let's check out. Jade has been renamed to Pug. Okay, that's correct. Let's close it. Instead of this, let's install Pug. And I'm going to just rename this file to Pug. Save it. And in the meanwhile, we actually need to specify this file, and yeah, the default directory for views, I would call it views, and here just let's create this index.pug, and let's say hello world. Let's add information. Hello world. This is the server's hello world. Now let's run our server again. And hopefully it works. We need to specify a views directory. Let's put it here. Setup template engine app set views let's use again join from the path and directory name and views. So there's one thing I want to change in all the document is single quote to double quote, as we are using TypeScript. Now, so far so good. Here we have our server hello world. If we open target directory, probably we'll have our React application. So far so good. Our application is working. We see the hello world from the client and from the server side. And the next episode we are going to extend this application by adding APIs for listing the job offers and also looking for new offers. This I'm planning to publish the next episode on Thursday. I hope this episode wasn't too long, and if you have any questions, please write a comment below. You can also find under the video the link to my GitHub, where you can find actually this code base. The repository is called open-joblist. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned.